We're now broadcasting a shortened version of the opening class of the series. And for this, Madame Lehmann chose the presentation of the rose scene and the trio that ends the opera. We begin the presentation scene on page 177 of the vocal score, just before figure 39. Sophie is sung by Patricia Clark and Octavian by Janet Sinclair.
Thank you very much. You rather make me breathless, which is not the right situation for a singer, even a retired one. I feel a little bit like Hans Sachs must feel in the last act Meistersinger, when all his friends greet him so warmly, and he says to them, "It's very easy for you, but you make it difficult for me." So you see, in the course of these lessons, I will say perhaps to some of the young singers, you must always be the master of your emotion. Now, what kind of an impression would I make now if I break into tears? Certainly, I would love to come to you as a singer again, to erase all these years. But time marches on, and I have lost my voice entirely, and I can only sing to you through the voices of my class. And I hope that you, listening to them, will say, "I don't know, Lehmann sang never as well as that." Don't be afraid that I will make a long speech, but I want only to say some words to my class. I know that among you are some professionals and those who are on the threshold of being professionals. And I'm terribly afraid that you may be embarrassed to be criticized before an audience. Now let's get that straight. I don't criticize at all. And if and when I interrupt, I make suggestions. If you don't like what I say, and with that I mean, if you have the feeling you cannot make it your own, you say so. And then we try to do it in another way, in your way. What I want is to develop your individuality. I don't want that you imitate what I say at all. I think it would be rather terrible if after these classes are over, a dozen Lotte Lehmanns would leave here. I had always enough trouble with this one. So I think now I have talked enough and we should go to work. We do first the presentation scene from a Rosenkavalier. It was the custom of this time, the time of the reign of the Empress Maria Theresia in Austria, that the bridegroom sent a messenger with a silver rose as a token of his love to his bride-to-be. And this girl, Sophie, has not ever seen her bridegroom, poor girl. And she received the messenger, who is this young, very handsome and beautiful Octavian. And both fall in love. The young man had thought that his love to the Marschallin is eternal. He is very young. And it is his first experience, at least I devoutly hope it is, because he's only 17 years. But seeing Sophie, he falls immediately in love with her, and you will be now the witness of this scene. So let's start. amused, and at the same time deeply impressed. Everything she says is really nonsense. But you are so in love that you think all the wise words which Marchallin has said to you, they're just nothing in comparison to this nonsense what this girl is talking about. Let me show you, yeah? She is the only person who has ever called you Can-Can. But through the servants or something, Vienna always like very much gossip. They're always very much interested in all the romances around them. So it came out, and she has heard that makes you terribly embarrassed, that she says. that tone, of being absolutely stunned. Mein Gott, wie schön und gut sie ist. Sie macht mich ganz verwirrt. Almost wistful.
That he talks to himself. Und ich werde Ihnen keine Schande nicht machen, meine Damen und Herren. Sollte eine, die sich besser tun, als ich Ihnen bestreiten bei einer Kindstaufe oder leicht, so will ich, wenn es sein muss, mit Ohrfeigen, ihr beweisen, dass ich die Vorlehrerin bin. Very, very fresh and very...
Oh no, she knows that he is not laughing. No, she feels that always a girl feels if the young man likes her, don't you? says she has never met a young man who pleases her so much. You can do with her what you want. Now, more you cannot expect either. Let me show you that.
After the interval, Madame Lehmann took the trio at the end of Der Rosenkavalier, beginning on page 421 at figure 256. In this scene, Sophie is sung by Ellen Dales, Octavian by Margaret Lenske, and the Marschallin by Elizabeth Crook.
We have now the third act. Octavian has tried very hard to break up this marriage to be between the Baron and Sophie. He has a very good idea. He writes a letter to the Baron and meets him in an inn of very bad reputation in the disguise of a girl, and arranges it that the father of Sophie appears there in a moment which is very embarrassing for the Baron. Also the Marschallin comes. She is a very wise woman, and she knows that now the hour has come that Octavian will leave her. She has known it, and she has told him so in the first act, that today or tomorrow or the next day he will forget her and will find a girl of his own age with whom he will fall in love, which she didn't believe. This hour has come now, a little bit earlier than was pleasant for her. But she is master of the situation, and she sees that the only thing for her to do now is to help Octavian, that he really gets this girl. And this scene we see now. In the beginning we start, the Marschallin was standing at the window, looking out because she is rather overcome. Yesterday Octavian was there with her, has said to her, I will love you till eternity. There is nobody else. I die. I will not know anything of a day, that a day should come in which I will love you. And the next day, after 24 hours, he loves somebody else, which is not very pleasant. So she is not pleased with him. And she is not pleased with the way he behaves. She wants him now to be a man, and to have the courage to come to her and to say, I am sorry, you were right, and thank you for everything, and you will understand me. He doesn't do that. He is very embarrassed. He behaves rather childish, and that makes her furious. I want you to understand right that she is not furious with him, that he has left her. She is furious because he leaves her in a way which she doesn't like. If he would come now and say, would you allow me that I go over there? She would say, yes, my dear boy, go. I told you so, it is like that. But that he talks and I don't know, what shall I do? And you are mistaken, I don't know. That makes her so very furious. And when she says, yes, is he a man or not? That gets you, because you always want to be a man. So when she says that, you say, I'm sure now that I am a man. Wie sie befiehlt. Eh bien. And then you change entirely and forget her again.
says, ich schwöre, lass es gut sein. Oh, don't say this out. With great emotion, lass es gut sein. And then he says, I don't know what's the matter with you. And then you say, are you a man or not? Go over. The Marschallin looks at you if you don't look first. The moment that she looks Octavian, you know, on stage one must make it more obvious, nicht wahr? If you do only this, one doesn't see that, nicht? Was für eine Blick ihre fürstliche Gnade. In the moment she reminds you, nicht wahr? And you turn, nicht wahr? Ich schwöre mit meiner Seele und Seligkeit, lassen Sie mich gehen. Ich verlasse Sie nicht. Mein Vater braucht mich dringend. Ich brauche Sie nötig. Das sagt er. It's more enough. Marschallin, you watch. Then Sophie looks at you and you look away. But don't look away with an expression as if you are haughty or as if you feel hurt. It is much more, oh, I don't want to hurt this girl. No, that I don't want. Then Octavian says, I'll never let you go. He has said all these sentences to you, and that makes you very emotional. Und then he says, der Vater braucht mich drin. He says, I need you more. And when he says that, ich bin nötiger. Yes, I have known that this day will come, and I was prepared. But you have to prepare. See, you don't get up because Lotte Lehmann said get up. You get up here because you have to, I cannot sit here anymore. I have to calm down. I have to say to myself, the day will come. The day is there. I have to live through this day with dignity, with wisdom, and with kindness.
Marschallin, very much. Because he even doesn't trust you so much that he wants to be alone. He thinks that you may say to him, "You rascal, what are you doing?" He knows you so little, and that hurts you. Now let me show you this. Stand there that you can see, yeah? Der Buch wir verlegen, der Buch wir verlegen, da stehen. Bleib so mal. Ich hab gesagt. And the Marschallin is amused in a sad way that it is possible that Octavian has given her up for this little chatterbox. You know, it would be asked too much if you would be delighted by her. If you are not delighted, so you are very kind and try to be very kind. But listening to the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, when you turn slowly, it's impossible that he did that. So ihr blass Gesicht. Ihr blass Gesicht. Gibt schon die rechte Antwort drauf.
Aber kein Wunder, wenn ich blass bin, euer Gnaden. Hab einen großen Schreck erlebt mit dem Herrn Vater. Gar nicht zu reden von Gerechtem. Heute Morgen geht ins skandalösen Herrn Baron. Bin euer Gnaden. Ich kann verpflichten, das mit der Willen und Ansicht.
Red sie nur nicht so viel. Sie ist ja hübsch genug. Und gegen den Herrn Papa sein Übel weiß ich etwa ein Medizin. Ich gehe jetzt da hinein zu ihm und frag ihn ein mit mir und ihr. Den Herrn fragen da, in meinem Wagen heimzufahren. Meint sie nicht, dass sie das requirieren will und allgemein ein wenig munter machen? Und für die Blässe weiß vielleicht mein Vetter da die Medizin. Sophie, I want you to go to the other side, so that now if one has nothing to think, you have to think. When you think in the role, for instance, when you go over there, that you really think, oh, what is the matter? Things like that. That helps tremendously. I have to tell you something quite interesting. When I sang Eva, I was always in Meistersinger, I was always before the quintet. terribly nervous. And it is so exposed, one is quite a while before that quiet, and then one has to start with these long phrases. And I always was trembling from head to toe before this quintet started. And Bruno Walter, who was a very great teacher of mine, really, I must say, I've learned tremendously from him. He said to me, but you know, you make a tremendous mistake. You stop thinking. You always think when Sachs takes your hands and guides you to the center of the stage before the quintet, you always think, oh, for heaven's sake, will he have the breath? Will it be all right? And he was quite right, that was true. And I really don't know any Eva who is quiet before she sings. In the same way as I don't know any singer who was not frightened of Toscanini, for instance. And if somebody says I never was frightened, I say it's an absolute lie. So from this time on, I always thought walking over there, oh, but I shall speak now before all these people. I have never done that. I have never made a speech in my life. And I really don't know what to say. But why am I afraid? Because here is Sachs, my friend. And there is Walter Stolzing, whom I love so much, and I am really so happy, and then the quintet was there. If you think that, then you will have the right expression. Otherwise, you will just go over there. You are so terribly kind. A woman is never so very happy when somebody with whom she is in love says you are terribly kind. I mean, she doesn't want to be so kind. She has not heard that at all. You feel now very motherly in this moment that he says kind, and you don't like this feeling very much. So when he says Marie-Therese, wie gut sie ist, auch, that also, she is terribly good, yes. He likes that very good. Wonderful moments that the conductor has to wait. Ich weiß auch nichts. Gar nichts. Don't sing. Ich weiß auch nichts. Gar nichts. Gut. Marschallin, I have always felt that the power of the Marschallin over these boys is so great, has been so great, that when if in this moment she should say, forget these girls, he would be hers again. Because he is in this moment very much in her spell again. And you don't sing that so cold, this is Marie-Therese. Tell me what I shall do, Marie-Therese. She looks at him and she says, go to the... Very good. That's it. The Austrian empress, Maria Theresia, was a very virtuous woman. And she would have been delighted if the ladies and gentlemen at her court would have been also virtuous. But unfortunately, they tried very hard and very successfully to imitate the rather frivolous morals of the French court. So I think we should not be too shocked to hear that the Marschallin, the wife of the great Austrian Field Marshal Fürst von Werdenberg, found the delights of love not in the arms of her husband, but of some lovers. She was a woman in that dangerous age when resignation is waiting just around the corner. And at the last fling, she had chosen a very young lover, the Count Rothano. He was only 17 years. He was head over heels in love with her, and she was rather in love, knowing that this would be a very short and rather delightful affair. The Marschallin is now in a rather sad mood, because when the hairdresser was there, she has looked into the mirror, and there she has seen all these little telltale here. The hairdresser, my dear, today you made an old woman out of me. As a matter of fact, she was rather tired. You don't blame her. Baron Ox has just left, and she dislikes this man very much. She is very crude and very unpleasant. So her first reaction is that she looks after him there and says, "Oh, there he goes, this unpleasant man." And he gets this lovely young girl, Sophie, and then she sings this very beautiful monologue. She feels how her time goes out. And she feels that very soon the hour has come that also she has to tell Octavian it is much better if he goes to somebody who is of his own age and doesn't squander his time with an aging woman. So now let's now start this Elizabeth. I'm going to show you. Yeah?
Schlechter Kerl. Und kriegt das hübsche junge Ding und einen Winkel Geld dazu, als müsste es so sein. Bildet sich noch ein, dass es ist, der sich was verwünscht.
We had a rehearsal with Strauss, and I sing the wife of the dyer. And there is a very long interview before I have to say something. And then I say to my husband, I am now since 3 years your wife, and I have no child, and I cannot stand this anymore. And the music, strangely enough, the music went really with the personality of the dyer who is a very wonderful, good man. He sat there on the ground and he had his wool and everything that he was working with, and the music is very much his character, not at all her character. In the rehearsal, Strauss came, and I said, "No, Herr Doctor, this is terribly difficult. The music is all for him, and I have so long nothing to do. What shall I do?" He said, "What a very silly question. Don't do anything." I said to him, "I don't think it would be overwhelmingly interesting. I just would stand there." And he says, "Have the courage to stand still." So very few singers on the stage have this courage. They always have to fill out with movements. And from this one remark, I have learned tremendously much. You stand there, and what I said in the other lessons, you think in your connection. You should already start to smile. You should start to remember the girl whom you have been already before you say it. The thought comes always before the word, doesn't it? So when the very last bar, if you go out of your sadness, could you play the last bar? You know, then it has a connection. Yeah? And the people on the street will say to each other, "Look, there walks the old Duchess." How can that be? How can God do that? And if he does it, why does he allow us with such clear sense, with such clear understanding, to see us growing old and going to pieces slowly? Why does he do that? That always will be a miracle for us, and we have to take it. We are there on earth to bear, but how to bear? That is the whole difference, that I will be very indulgent, and I will bear beautifully, which he really does.
she feels so very young in her heart. Especially she feels so young this morning because she has heard in this night certainly words which one doesn't say exactly to a very old woman. So therefore she is almost sadly amused. Die alte Nacht. Will I ever play the part while I'm doing the alte? You know? Do you know that I do what? Argue, that's it. It is as if I want to argue with God. Why? All right, I understand everything has to die and has to fade away. But why didn't you give the blessing to us people that we don't see it and don't feel it? Why have I every morning when I look in the mirror I see a new little wrinkle in my face? Why is that so? And then you say, all right, we will never understand why it is so, and we have to bow. Good.
Now follows the final duet of Act 1, and in this the Marschallin is sung by Shirley Sproul and Octavian by Laura Sarti. We begin at figure 300 on page 138.
console this boy, because he will one day leave you for her. Von der Rest very clear. Jetzt muss ich noch den Mut dafür geben, dass mich über kurz oder lang Now let's do that. Jetzt muss ich Marschallin has not a drop of sentimentality in her whole mental makeup, not at all. Always she has this humorous superiority which carries here about her about everything. She was sad when she was alone, but she will not show these young men always. I mean, imagine that situation. He is terribly young, she is much older than he. Now when she always says, oh my God, time is terrible. He will be so bored to tears that he will go away. And she don't want him to go away. Not yet at least. Die Zeit im Grunde kann, die Zeit, die ändert doch nichts an den Sachen. Die Zeit, die ist ein sonderbar Ding. Most and thoughtful, but not sad. Ja. Morgen geht hin und gibt mich auf, einer anderen Sinne, die jünger und schöner ist als ich, but not sentimental. And then he says, you will mit Worten verschulden, that this day comes quite by itself. Today or tomorrow, Octavian, I know better than you. You have already made up your mind. It's time that I say goodbye to this boy, because I don't want that he says goodbye to me. Yeah. You know? And then when she then says God doesn't help, she talks like a priest. What's the matter with you? Don't you want any more that I kiss you and then you go over and want to kiss her again? So.
Manche bis Two-Steps. Sie spricht ja heute wie ein Paar. Soll das heißen, dass ich nie werde? And I will make a confession. And then I go to my old uncle who is paralyzed and will eat with him. It will be terrible. But I think this is the right thing for me to do now. Because I was very bad this night and I think I should be very good today. And then you feel that he is there again. And then, oh, this poor boy. Yeah, it's very difficult. I cannot say goodbye now forever. I mean, I could meet him with Prater, perhaps. And then you say, and in the afternoon, I will send him a messenger and will tell him if I go to the Prater and he would like to, he can come too, and he can ride beside me. Beside my carriage, I will take a very beautiful new hat. I will look very lovely, perhaps lovelier than all the young girls he will like. So that has to be in her thought.
That was a shortened version of a master class given at the Wigmore Hall, London, last autumn by Lotte Lehmann. The accompanist was Ivor Newton.